Good evening, this is the Oscar Expert here with Brother Bro at the Sundance Film Festival. It's time to review 892. This is the true story of Brian brown-easley when he held up a bank in order to get something that he felt was owed to him, as well as bring media attention to the situation that he was in, which I'm not gonna quite spoil for you. This acts as sort of a real-time thriller, and I thought it was really well made. My worst fear was that this was gonna be like a TNT drama where the camera's always like looking at like the police officers and their guns and it's like dun, 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 and it overuses like drums for tension.
They did that, but very, very sparingly.
And for a purpose, I think.
It was mostly very focused on the robber, played by John Boyega. And the cinematography does a good job building intimacy with his character and with the other two hostages in the bank.
The sound mixing also was worth noting. That was like very thoughtfully done. The way that kind of like sucks the air out of the room and amps up tension.
Overall, the camera work was really sleek. Some of the more dynamic shots with a lot of movement like were really well done. There's especially like the shot before he goes to the bank I thought was like brilliantly captured.
Yeah, there were a lot of really good looking shots in this movie.
Even the cinematography though does wear down a little bit towards the middle, just because like we're excited about it in the beginning, but then it kind of stops like building on it and doing something new. And I actually would say that for the film as a whole, that's sort of like the issue with it. But for the most part, this is really solid and there's a lot of good things to say about it.
I was overall very impressed with this movie, especially with the performances. John Boyega, I think, has maybe never been better. I thought he was brilliant in Steve McQueen's Red, White, and Blue, so maybe I wouldn't quite go there saying he's better than that, but like he is amazing in this. John Boyega has an incredible talent for displaying this character's emotional state, his anxieties and his motivations at every second. We feel like very locked in with him.
I also feel like he played it kind of explosively enough that we're not sure, is this person wild enough to do what he says he's gonna do. So on one hand, he comes across as this like down-to-earth relatable person, and on the other hand, you don't really know what he's gonna do next or how he's gonna react to something.
It's also often a heartbreaking performance.
The two hostages are also really good in this film, and I think especially the standout is Nicole Beharie. She has a couple scenes where she's able to bring it, and you can see her full capabilities as an actress, and is pretty stunning. She lets us think about the ambiguity within that character of, she obviously like wants to get out as a hostage, but there's another motivation in there that I won't really spoil. And as those two things are sort of fighting, it's really interesting to see how she works with that.
Yeah, I agree. Nicole Beharie was really good in this. I would not be opposed to Oscar buzz for her performance and John Boyega's for this movie.
I'd be surprised if this movie got nominations, but I do agree that those performances are good enough.
Salinas Leyva is also really good as the other hostage. And then, we also have Michael K. Williams in here who pops up towards the end. And he's also really good in the movie.
He also has that like double motivation to play with, same as Nicole Beharie. She does a really good job with.
I do think that in the second half, I would have liked to see John Boyega's character interact even more with some of these other supporting characters, because I think that could have given the movie a little bit more to play with. Whereas I think the tension that was really high in the first half kind of dies down as I said before, like we know kind of what's going on and we're just seeing it play out.
I also think it establishes where our sympathies are supposed to lie very early on. And what they could have done was sprinkle those out so that you as an audience member have more of an arc for how you're perceiving the situation too. But the movie's heart is definitely in the right place. I agree with where the sympathies are supposed to lie. I just think it put it all out there very early and maybe a little bit too soon, didn't allow us to discover that. I still didn't know exactly how this was going to end, even though it's based on a true story. And when we do get to that conclusion, it really does pack a punch.
The movie also does a good job exposing some of the systemic failures that led this man to do what he's doing. Overall, I was really happy with how this film focused in on its main character. I felt emotionally attached to him. The performances were the best part of the movie for me. I'll go 7.5.
I would do a 7.5 as well.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. How much money should you get from the bank?